We have a hearing, 595 Cafe, at 595 Summer Street. Stanley Strum.
Yes.
Feel good.
I'm Jessica Cameron. Ready to dance?
You can have a seat.
When the girls moved in three months ago to my apartment, they come in to see apartment, they know that's the bathroom on the first floor, and the third floor is the apartment. And okay, they girls pay me for the first month, which from before, from coming, they from evicted apartment, they threw them out. I didn't know that, I'm figured out now. Okay, well, I rent the apartment, and for two girls. Now, a week later, my friend said, how many people live there? I said, well, Maggie and Jessica and her daughter, 5 years old. And because I'm not paying attention, I saw a lot of people, but I think the move, the help to move. Now I find out, I see the young gentleman, he lives, he so open the doors and say, who you are, what you doing? He said, I live there. I said, where you live? I said, on the third floor, I'm paid in. I said, to who you paid in? He said, for the girls. Yes, his girlfriend and two kids, that's a 4, and that 3, that's 7. Okay, and now Maggie have a daughter, 5 years old, and she to a preschool.
Stanley, can I just ask a question? Are the young ladies tenants of yours?
Yeah.
At the same address
Yeah.
upstairs?
Yeah, third floor, yeah. That's
My
the-
daughter was actually 4 when we moved in.
Okay. Well, she did the school now from the door to the bus, maybe 10,
She was
15, 10, 15 seconds, and she in the bus. You know, there they complain, which they go to the bus, and they see the bathroom open at 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's a bad influence for the, she thinking about that influence for the daughter because the bathroom. Well, before moving, they see there's a bathroom. You know, the kid 4, 3 years old, you know, they walk from the bars or restaurants or even galleries or grandparents take their kids to the restaurant for the dinner. And then I'll make it that, I don't know, but I maybe find that's a better influence because they put kids open, which we never open at 7 o'clock. No. I have it, me and my neighbors, they can tell us. Okay. You know, they say when I'm open 7 o'clock. Sometimes I'm open because I'm grown and I can open the next day, which I'm never open in the mornings. In the mornings open apartment. And I'm a harass her and her visitor, which visitor another 2 people. She told me that I asked how long I can stay there, your visitor. They say maybe a week. And now 2 months later, they still the people. I said, listen, what's going on over there? 11 people left, plus boyfriends, and nobody paying. My water bill jumped from 170 to 440. And when I'm coming and ask when you can pay, you need to give before 48 hours, give a note to you want to talk to us. And that's slum, say, get the screw from here and I slam the doors in the front of the face, okay? And I take me for harassment. I'm gonna put that, that's the visitor, 2 months. He's in his girlfriend and a pregnant, the girlfriend pregnant.
Stanley, can I suspect there's a lot
Yeah.
of issues here. Can I ask you a couple of
Yes,
questions?
please.
What time do you open every morning?
8 o'clock.
You ever open prior to 8 a.m.?
No, he's my neighbor.
All right,
Excuse
no,
me.
We're asking you.
You'll have your chance, please, but I'm afraid we're getting involved in something else here where we don't want to go. So relative to the complaints that were made regarding early openings, let me ask you again, do you open prior to 8 a.m.?
Never in 25 years.
All right. Do these ladies, young ladies, have anything else to add?
Friday morning it
Nothing to do
was
with
open.
family, a tenant-landlord relationship or
No.
anything like that?
No.
No, but it was open Friday at 7:30. It was putting my daughter on the bus, and it was open, and this bartender Bobby was outside smoking a cigarette. And this was this
And
Friday.
I'm actually not even living there. I'm actually living with my brother.
Yeah.
And I come home at 7 a.m. and that time is open.
Well, what you need to do, if you believe he's open at a time like that, is you need to call the police. You need to tell them you suspect the establishment is open. They need to come and write a report.
Mr. Carpenter, either my neighbor 20 years.
You don't need to hear from anybody. So, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, it's quite all right. All right.
Never, ever they've been open. Like, you see the gate is closed. If you stay outside
Stanley.
It
smoke,
wasn't.
It's okay, you don't have to.
No.
if you stay smoke outside,
Stanley.
that's
Wasn't closed.
You don't have to. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do.
Understand, if you see things that you think are legitimate violations, you have to call the Lynn police.
We're leaving as
Get
of
those
February
documents.
4th, so.
Okay,
Oh, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Stanley.
Thank you.
Enough,
Thank you.
please.
thank you. All right.
Thank you. He's all my neighbors, but the process is 20 years.
Stanley, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah. Next here is Enjoy Lucas, 53 Union Street.
I need an ask to Robert, did you sign?
Sheila, you're all set.
4 times the issue of private paper.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Repeat the story of what happened for this time. Customer came in, we checked over the ID. And the ID she checked is the Massachusetts ID. And after she left out the door, and the officer stopped her, and he asked her what her ID was. When the officer came back with her, she moved for him the promise paper ID C-17. But I been check her with the Massachusetts ID. We been check her and she put them in the pocket. After she left, the officer stopped her outside, at her ID. We don't go outside. But when the officer came to the store and asked her, did you just serve this girl? We say yes. And the officer said, did you know she only 17-year-old? And she had this kind of paper, the permit, the paper, not the green one. And we told him, sir, we not serve her with the paper. We serve her with the ID, the real Massachusetts ID. And he keep asking the girl, and I don't know, she's talking about outside. And the officer not believe her, and we say, if you don't believe her, check in her pockets. She just put back the ID in her pocket. And the officer put his hand in her pocket and took out the ID. Then on his hand had 2 ID. And then he took the girl outside and talked to the girl. And then he came back. And he came back to ask her the camera. And tell you the truth, before the old system, we use the tape, the video tape. I can put it in and take it out. The new one right now, the manager of the Lloyd, it control the tape. And he keep asking about the tape, the camera video. And that time we so nervous. And Tim told him to, can you please wait, I can call manager, come and show you the video. And the officer, he kind of don't want to pay attention to wait for the manager to come. And he talked to Tim and say, you don't know how to review and do the camera. And Tim say, so if the camera is from, the manager can open that and review that. And the officer told him, you better get a new job. But you don't know how to do the camera. And that time, the officer kept checking ID and the name from the person's alcohol. And that time, I'm the one to run and call the manager come. And he came over, and I've been talking to the officer outside for 5 minutes. And he said, okay, you get inside. And I just went inside, and he just left, and the Lord gonna come in, and he already left. And we've been waiting for 2 days, Friday, 10 days to see any letter to listen. I haven't seen anything, and I thought I persuade him to give, you know, like give her a chance, maybe like that. And a month and 2 days after, and we received the letter to go here. Thank you.
Can I just ask, You are the owner?
I'm the owner,
I'm here.
I'm the manager.
You were, who was on duty the night that?
Another worker.
The worker.
Another worker with her at the time.
I'm in there all the time, office with
So
them,
you're
not an
the, you're the
officer.
owner, and you are
I'm a manager
the manager?
for this.
What hours?
Do you have the tape?
No,
After that, so, and I called him, he jumped over the store right away. And this time, he the one to do the tape. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do the new one, and then after he came to open the tape, now,
after she called me, I came over right away. But when I came, no more officer there. So I just tried, I took the remote control because I don't want anyone to run the tape at all. Because I put it work there, but I don't want he operate the system because sometimes he might mess it up. But when I came, I tried to open it. It's the best luck. It's that's too weak because the new system every time they go full, hit manually to hit the recorder. Because I have two, so I have another link in the market. I run a new one too, and sometimes have a few officer come at me, but have to came outside my store. Sometimes having it came at me to see a few times that Rick Bell came at I share my camera, I have no problem. But at that time I came and open it, try to replay it in 2 weeks, no record. So it just I don't know how to get with that system. It just we bought a DJ, but somehow it different system. The one we have in my store Lincoln Market, it's an automatic. So the automatic, get that one, but when memory full, you have the manual to hit record. But I mean on the screen, just to show the picture, the action that you take a picture that you recorded, but it's not hot right, it's not running. So that's when I came. But when I was there, and no one left. No officer at all. But even I tried to just open the tab, see if I can see anything, any activity, the angle or something.
Is it a tape or is it a DVD?
Not that, the digital,
Digital.
the hard drive.
I went that time with officer to there, and we can show him what we can show him, prove to him. We don't mean to hide the camera. But when he come in and the officer is already left, and I went and talked to him outside and say, sir, we've been here a long time, no problem. And this time it came, we very nervous, and then she got 2 ID, but still we check her with the real one. That's why 100% we know she put back in her pocket. So
Now, this is the problem I had that night, because the girl that bought was 17 years old, and that's her. And the girl that she presented a license to, which I'm not agreeing that she presented it to, but she claimed to present the license to, was this. Now, they're telling me she presented an ID, and I'm telling them, well, I could give you that ID, but that's not me. The girl was 10 years older, and it was obvious to me by driving by that she was under 21. That's the difficulty I was having.
Yes.
Is that they weren't getting the, they think that all you gotta do is produce an ID and you can buy it.
That's the registry picture?
Yes.
Which would be on her license?
Yes.
Which one made the purchase?
The one on the left made the purchase, she's 17 years old, and then she was using the one on the right's license. Now, when we went in there with her, she was adamant that they never asked her for an ID, and she said, there's cameras, show us right now that I showed an ID. Because she wanted to prove to me that they didn't ask them for the ID. But miraculously, no one could operate the camera system. And I don't see a tape today.
my concern is if we didn't check her ID.
It's not her. That's the
And how
problem.
we know the 100% in her pocket, and after the officer came talk to her, we say, sir, we not accept the ID with paper 17, we've been listening. We can see 17-year-old even cannot buy a cigarette, why we serve her the liquor. And officer say, how, and they say, we did check her ID, the customer ID, and her ID put back in her pocket. We told him that, and that's why he put it in her hand, her pocket right away. He did, put his hand on the customer pocket, the girl. I did, it's hard, and they took it out,
Can I explain that?
yeah.
When I stopped her outside, she said they didn't ask me for an ID at all. So we went back inside, and their claim was she showed us an ID. And at that point, I said, do you have a fake ID? She said, yes, I do. She produced it. She said, but they didn't ask me for it. She said, have them play the tape back. We'll see it on camera. They never asked me for it.
Do you think those two people are the same?
No, the girl coming, this one, the picture, it took it different. When I served her, that's why I realized. But Jean, even that night, I came out with the officer. He said, can you look at this girl and the paper? The chin, the way we look to serve people, because sometimes people took the picture so long, and now they look horrible, different can tell. But the way I served her, I checked the chin and the eyebrow. And that's how we agree with a 27-year-old with a real.
You didn't even sell to her though, so.
Tim, but I served her, I told you that night, I've been
So
serving her.
you're right, so you've been selling to a minor prior to that.
No, because before I check her with this one, I've been checked with the chin and eyebrow. But that person, when that day is a lot of different, it's not like that.
Is the other manager?
Yeah.
But you weren't there.
What's that?
She wasn't
How
there.
often do you work at the store?
Well, depend. Sometimes I'm
Well,
what?
not depend. How often do you work at the store?
How often?
Yeah.
Well, at least one a day, but some not run a lot of time. Because sometimes if they need me, sometimes I go there to help and to run the inventory or something like that. But because we're family member, so sometimes if she go, I come to help out because either me and her to control. That's why we want make sure keep somebody check the ID all the time and make sure everything just run properly. That's why I say more time either her or me at the store when we operate the business. Either her or me, which help her. So in other words, if she's not there, I will be there with somebody. So
But you can't run the camera.
I don't know.
Who turns it on?
I'm the one
He's not there all
installed.
the time.
No, he come in, he check sometime with the camera. Even right now, anything happen outside, a officer come and ask me, I don't know how to do that. I'm so sorry about the thing. So,
But I'm sorry. Like I said, we have another store, a Lincoln Mother.
yeah, we
I
move right
installed
back
the
and
same thing, and like I say, I installed a camera outside for the customer, for protect customer. And like I say, even the lane officer, he came sometime. Like a couple of times they fired, he asked me, so I say, for them they had no problem. That's why I let them to use them to identify the situation. I mean, I talked to Rick Vale some quite a bit. He sometimes if something happened,
Can I ask a question, Officer Fucci? Just, did you verify that this other young lady was 17 years old?
Yes. She provided,
Do you want?
I believe a learner's permit or maybe a paper license that was her. And I verified it through
I
the.
understand what he's saying. No matter what else about IDs or anything else, you served this person who he verified to be 17 years old.
yeah, but,
Very,
so-
very young, very, very
No,
dangerous.
that, the girl bought is not that young. It's not that young.
You have the
She dressed,
testimony of a police officer.
she
that
looked
says
very, very
She may have
overweight.
looked older, but she wasn't.
Yeah,
The
but.
fact remains, she wasn't. She was 17 years old. That's
Okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
I
fact.
did with him for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but the one I checked her.
And she came from
all
Salem.
checked.
That's my question. Why do you think someone from Salem is finding their way to Union Street Way?
Can you repeat that again, sir?
Someone from Salem happens to come to your store at 53 Union Street in Lynn. Why do you think that happens?
that we don't know. That is
I would suspect that they know that they can go in there and buy if they're 17 years old.
so it could be the case, but we check the ID, and if she gets false ID, then that person responsible because we did. I mean, if we did not have ID, then our fault.
That's not what the law says. The law says that you have to reasonably, if you look at a Massachusetts, it has to be reasonable. Looking at these two pictures, I know you're saying they look alike. I don't think there's any question that they're different.
The girl, let me explain, the girl.
Reasonable reliance, it has to be reasonable.
They very look alike, believe me, and I've been talking with officer outside, the girl there, and say, sir, he agree with me and say, yeah, because the white girl can go see me. I say, sir, can you look at the chin? with a 27
Do
year
you
old.
understand what everybody's talking about? You're serving a 17-year-old. It's a very bad situation.
No,
Very
you serve
bad.
her with the ID.
We
That's
understand.
the ID.
Doesn't matter, you blew it with the ID, no matter what. Either you took a fake ID or you didn't take an ID, one way or another. She's 17 years old. You realize how young that is?
No, she's not that, look, 17 years old.
Doesn't
She
matter.
does. She may not have looked it, but her age is 17. You can't change that. She's a minor.
Yeah,
But they check the ID, and so if she have false ID, and if it really look like we say, sometimes we take a picture from back a few 4 or 5 years ago.
That's what you
and
should be
we
saying.
send.
That's what you should be saying. When you just said under your breath is what you should be saying. Yes, everybody makes a mistake.
Yeah,
And that-
yeah,
And
but-
you're not standing here admitting you made a
I'm sorry.
mistake.
My English second language sometimes, I
We-
try to explain.
We're
Understand.
trying to cut you some slack.
Yeah.
It makes me
That- that
believe
work
that
I-
Right,
it
you
helps
do
us.
have to admit you made a
I
mistake.
try
and
to
you-
talk
Yes,
the way like that, but
Mhm.
kind of, my second language, I'm so sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's not really clear for you.
you're
It's
doing
easy to
fine.
understand.
You're
Yeah,
doing
I understand.
fine. You did make a mistake.
Yes, I'm so apologize about that. I should say that first. I didn't listen.
What would you do in the future if this person came in?
No,
What would you do?
I'm not gonna be.
You just say no?
No. After this one, I told the officer, for you, and be careful. We really be careful, but it more be careful. We've been using it for a long time, it's not going to be bad.
There's also a rule that says that you have to maintain your electronic and video surveillance system. And it's for your protection, more than anything else. I mean, we don't know what you're
Sir.
saying, whether it's true or not, but if it's not working, that's technically another violation. You're not charged with it.
Yeah.
That's
From
it,
now
too.
on, I learned from him.
I,
Anything happen from outside, because Union Street is very work, he's officer know, we run in there. And I have to learn myself now, how when he come in, it's not inside store, but outside, he wanna see anyone coming. We have to know how to, he have to teach me how to learn, stop that and put back the day and the time. To prove for the officer, anytime he came in, now know very important. The officer walk in as other head, not the camera, we ready to solve.
just avoid it, I mean, if there are a few moments I was there, then even it won't embarrassing for me.
After
Because
that
if I
night-
refund the cab, and he might say,
After
What
that night,
happened?
we need to learn more tech,
it-
to prove for the officer. Anytime happen.
but we will work
You
harder.
have to go back one step before that, though. Really, I don't, you know, the tape is one thing, but to get to the part where the tape is, you looked at someone's license who's 27 on a 17-year-old girl. That can't happen. It can't happen.
But
This is probably a high school girl, 10th or 11th grade.
I think, I don't know, I can try to, what happened, the picture she put in, it's not the same as her registration. You know, get that, it not close, that's what she tried to explain. Because the picture and the registration is
It's
not.
different, so it's an altered license then, which should have been even more. You should have been able to see it, it shouldn't have run through the machine if it was an altered license. It would not have run through the machine that you have.
and isn't.
They did put it through a machine?
Well, you said you checked it, or if you put it through a machine, it wouldn't work, but if someone else's picture on there, you didn't look at it close enough. Because, I mean, it's a holograph almost, it's impossible to.
Yeah. Did you run it through a machine?
No, we don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
right,
yeah, I
we
think
always
we
look
don't-
careful
that's-
what
yeah,
way
yeah.
it is.
If
What do you
machine
look at?
then you can.
How close do you look at the picture? You just look at the date.
No, I look at the day, the year, and her face
Face,
too,
her
the
face.
face.
Yeah.
We
You're
always
looking at
be
the right
careful
thing.
with the year first, and the
Yeah.
face. Make sure something that looks similar, exactly. That's how we check the ID.
Her English, we always spoke, she tried to explain, because when she looked at the film picture, after the day, and the year, and the chin, and the eyebrow, so that's why it's.
Madam Chairperson, I make a motion that we find that a violation occurred and that the board impose a 3-day suspension for sale to a minor first offense, and that it go into effect on today, the 24th. on February 4th. It's 10 days from now.
Second.
Can you repeat that again?
The 3 days suspension.
We might appeal for that, so we
You have the right to appeal.
You can
can
appeal.
appeal for that.
That's why it won't go into effect for a period of time to give you the time to appeal.
Yes, thank you so much.
Which, you know, I understand you're gonna appeal it, but it still shows us that you're not hearing us. You served a 17-year-old, and now you're gonna appeal it already after you just apologized to the chairperson.
We must serve the 17
We'll see you at the ABCC.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a hearing from the Escrow Club.
I'm Mark Hargan, I represent Mr. Sedano, the owner of Woodland Stroke Cafe. It's recommended to 86 to working.
Very serious report here about an incident that was initiated at your establishment. A minor being served.
Say he never done that, first of all.
Excuse me?
It's alleging they didn't do that, they don't serve minor there. This allegation is not true. The gentleman behind us, Pedro, he's the person responsible, you always to check out my day there, that's the person there. You have Pedro.
Okay, so these 3 gentlemen were on staff that night?
Yeah.
This is the yes,
And this gentleman was the owner?
he's the owner,
Then
and
you
I'm
are-
the interpreter. It's the
Church.
I'm the interpreter.
Saw you here to sing.
This is your second time you ever say that.
Still get a laugh out of it.
Thank you.
Can we mention names?
It's a good one, it's all right.
Yeah, definitely, across the street. I think the gentleman's name, oh, Juan Camilio? Are you familiar with, Juan Camilio?
¿Estás familiarizado con uno que se llama Juan Camilo?
Anyone on your staff?
¿Alguien que no reconoce a Juan Camilo? Question is not.
Well, it seems as if this minor was able to give a pretty in-depth description of the inside of your establishment.
Esa menor dice que vio algo muy definido de su establecimiento. He stated that he doesn't even know who you're referring to.
This happened back on December 3rd.
Eso pasó en diciembre 3, dice Richard Cabbage. He said when he came down here, that's when he realized
Do we know what night of the week that was?
It was a Friday.
Friday night?
It was a Friday
A
night.
Friday night. So you probably had a pretty good crowd.
No, we
They
didn't,
said-
it was a slow night,
Slow night?
very slow.
Okay, and you gentlemen were at the door behind the bar and your staff? And did anyone bring this incident to your attention or say anything to you?
No, we knew about it when we received the report in the mail.
That's the first you read?
Yeah, that was the first time we heard about it.
Anything unusual occurred during the night?
Nope, nothing. I can remember it was a very slow night, roughly around 15, maybe 12 people at max.
You don't recall anyone being intoxicated?
No,
Need help?
no.
Leaving us? She was able to give a pretty good description of the area. I mean, very good description of the area. The supermarket.
He says, first of all, our no there is we cannot receive any minors there, period. We never get them. He says he stayed 12 years at the state liquor store. And he always looked at that, so he does have experience when it comes to identification. He says, it's like, I have a great confidence about that gentleman there. His name is Pedro. He's a very responsible. He also worked at the liquor store also at the same time, that gentleman. I know him too, that gentleman, too, personally.
Follow up?
Well, my issue is if it was not a crowded night, that someone should have noticed that a young girl was drinking at a table.
Dice que si hay que tú allá, hay que estar supuesto a hacer, porque era una tarde bien lenta, dice, una noche bien lenta. He agreed with us.
And it's pretty clear based on the investigating officer's report that this did happen.
Dice él que muy claro, dice el oficial, que algo ocurrió o algo aconteció.
Pero según dice el reporte, dice que ella se dio cuenta el otro día a la 1 de la tarde.
He said that report said accordingly that she find out later about in the afternoon the next day at 1 o'clock. That's what the report says accordingly. That's what the report says. Yes, just confirming.
That it was reported to the police.
¿Que fue reportado a la policía?
Sí, ella es de Lowell,
This woman stated that she, I believe that report said that she's from Lowell,
Yes.
Massachusetts.
Yes.
Sí, está correcto. Dice,
el otro día, no fue el otro día que ella despertó.
she says she wake up, the next day at Carlin. That's it. But he agreed with the office. It wasn't like a slow night. He agreed with the officers, no, saying that.
So how would a girl from Lowell be able to describe the business, the parking lot, the area of the cafe?
¿Y cómo es que esta joven puede describir tan profundamente de nuevo una locación tan exacta como es el sitio ese? He says it's nothing I can say about that, but he also agree with you, but other than that, it's.
Lieutenant Holy, do you think that Officer Elwood can add any additional information, or is this probably?
If you want to put this over till next month, I can get her in here, possibly find out who did the follow-up investigation, and, for BBU.
Okay. I do agree with the chairperson, there's some very serious allegations here.
Dice que ella va de acuerdo, dice el señor Carpenter, de que esto es unas alegaciones muy serias.
And I think we need, as a board, the police department, to investigate this a little further. So we would ask that you come back next month.
Dice él que considera totalmente, con respecto a esta situación, que él preferiría que vinieran como el próximo mes.
Yes. I could have a copy of a full copy of the report because I can't see it.
And I think this is, unless they have more, this is probably what we're thinking, give me advice.
Yeah, he can, okay, you'll be able to.
I can get you what you have.
Right,
what can be disclosed.
Right.
Can I give
You
it
know,
to
you have this.
But I don't put the other report.
That's the one I put there.
Scan report, police report.
I just saw 2 pages.
I'd make a motion to continue the case until next.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
We're looking at your essentials, you just have them prepare.
New notice? Yeah, new notice
Yeah.
usually. Okay. Send it a notice, Jeff?
Yeah.
You get another notice.
Dice que te vamos a enviar una notificación al respecto.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Que nos- Yeah, I will do something before I leave us. I wish I got the guitar too.
Did everyone get an opportunity to read communications, a letter from Vitality Law?
Motion we accept all communications.
Second.
On there.
Excuse me.
Okay, then we have 2 police reports.
3.
J, Players,
JDs.
JDs.
I think JDs and players can be accepted in the file.
Good.
Second, all in favor? Aye. And
Here are the pictures from, on the table on the floor.
I didn't see that on the menu.
We probably should attach a copy.
What was the motion for
Oh, yeah.
Jay?
J,
Nothing.
huh?
Yeah, just that night.
J, what, let's bring in?
Yeah.
Bring them in.
J, I think we should bring in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I thought that's what.
Yeah.
Can we,
Except the other.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
can you give those to Deb so that she attaches that to the notice that will.
Can I bring it up and give it to him?
Yeah.
See you on the way home.
And then, oh,
Okay.
We'll have to see you after.
I have
review of,
some,
yeah,
I have some review stuff to go over with you
okay.
guys.
Rules and
Renewals.
regulations?
You want to do the rules and regs
Yeah.
first?
okay. Please. Who has those, Mr. Attorney?
Do you need a copy?
Yes, please. Did you want?
What?
So, yeah.
Anybody else need one? You need one?
No. Oh, yes, please, thank you. Thank you.
I'll pick it up.
Anybody else?
What is it?
The rules and regulations?
I'll try it. I've never seen it.
Could I have a little? Thank you. No, Officer Kendrickopoulos?
You guys are gonna review these and, add or change anything for next month?
Well, we have the ones that we voted on earlier that'll be submitted
Added to it.
for the public hearing. And then anything that would be done on the reviews of these, if you wanted to alter or change anything, we'd have to put those down also for a public hearing. So any alterations that are done on that would have to be voted upon later. Well, it's, the cases are different from what the ABCC's actually says. I mean, it's very confusing. Yeah.
So we should have this ready for the next meeting?
If they're-
No,
If we can change it, okay. Okay.
This is not here.
They'll call them into Debbie by 2 weeks before the next meeting?
I do have it on a flash drive, if you guys would prefer that.
Make our own type it? No.
Okay,
What, the pride view?
moving
No.
on. Okay, renewals. We renewed, let's see, that one, I mean, okay. We renewed, 238 licenses this year. All the restaurant bars, those are all set, except for a lot of them are missing their liquor liabilities that they didn't put in with their packets. So, I'm asking that,
maybe we just send them a letter, and then if they don't get it to me by the next meeting,
Have
call,
them-
call them in
You
for a
could
hearing.
call them in, but that'd have to be in the form of a motion.
Okay.
So
Call
moved.
them in.
Second?
I'll do.
Aye.
All right, Sunday entertainment licenses. I do have a list, Lieutenant Holy, I think I put one in your red packet, okay. Some of those are coming in this week, so what I'll do is email you on Friday of any that haven't,
Okay,
still haven't renewed them,
okay.
okay? They're supposed to renew them with the mayor's office, and some of them haven't. I also still have 3 lodging houses that are outstanding that have not finished their, I don't have them listed here, I'm sorry, I don't have the addresses.
50 Andrew Street, Waterloo.
Yeah, and I have 10 non-alcoholic common viculars that have not renewed their common vics yet. I'm gonna coordinate with the, building department, ISD. It's the same people from every year. So, and we have 4 outstanding pocket licenses. Diverge, that's in transition and litigation. Bow Thatch, which is 551 Summer Street, that may end up following through. The ABCC, I believe, is looking to deny that
Looking to deny.
for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Ahmad, his license, they're still trying to work that out with Market Square Convenience and the Blue Note, and that's it for pocket licenses.
Now, was there an appeal by Mr. Soriano on the Blue Note? Denied?
No, not that I am aware
That period
Yeah.
expired.
Yes, that was long,
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah, so this is not done.
Yeah, they don't have it
of. Okay.
No, it's gone.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
Always in order, always in order.